Kadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with the halachot of Mincha in the afternoon. The Kav HaChaim and also the Halacha Brura, they bring down a beautiful Zohar HaKadosh. The Zohar HaKadosh says, Tebaye barnash lechavana dateh betziluta de mincha, uvekula tziluta baye barnash lechavana dateh, uvehai tziluta yatil mikrhu. He comes and he says, every single human being, every single person has to have a lot of kavanah when they're praying the tefillat of the mincha. But then the Zohar says, well, technically you have to have kavanah in all the tefillot, right? However, though, he says, in the tefillah of mincha even more than all the rest of the tefillot. He says, why? Begin the dinah sharia be'alma, because there's deen in the world. And since there's justice in the world, I mean, it's our obligation, right? It's our duty in order to sweeten this justice. So therefore, we have to have much more kavanah during this time than during the rest of the times. And that's why, if you remember, we said that also the minhag that Rizal HaKadosh was to give the shalosh prutot was to give the tzedakah before the time of mincha as well. Now, another important halacha, which I think is something incredible. Also, yesterday we quoted already the Pele Yoetz, right? And we said about that. How do you show your love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu? If you're going to come to Tefillah B'tzibur for the time of Mincha and Arvit, there's another, right, Pele Yoetz. But this is not in a Sefer Pele Yoetz. This is in a Sefer Chesel Alafim. The Pele Yoetz of Eliezer Papo wrote a Sefer called Chesel Alafim, which is on the Shulchan Aruch. It's on the Halacha and on every single Siman. He comes, and usually between him and his son, they come and they also bring Musar and the Halacha, which is to do with the different Simanim in the Shulchan Aruch. And he says as follows. He says, Tzarich lizaher b'mincha ve'arvit, gam ken liot me'asara rishonim bebet hakneset. Which means, just like we know that in the morning, there's a mitzvah in order to be the first 10 in the Bet HaKnesset, which means you should always be the first 10. And if you remember, we actually did bring a chakirah, brought down in the Kav HaChaim, right? Remember, is that, do we say that the first 10, they get the greatest reward? Why? Because they bring the Shekhinah down into the Bet HaKnesset, they bring the Shekhinah down into this world. The question is, does it go that every single person, the one that got there first, he gets the biggest reward? Or do all the first 10 get the exact same reward? Right, that was the chakirah that he brings down, the Kav HaChaim. So here he brings down that also by Mincha and Arvit, it's important to be from the Asara Rishonim in the Bet HaKnesset. Nevertheless, he says, right, he says, Mi she'eno yachol lehizer bezeh b'shachrit, hizer b'mincha. Right, he says, okay, so if you can't be careful in this in the shachrit, at least be careful during Mincha. Which means, let's say in shachrit, it's very, very difficult. Next, the korbanot starts at 5:50, 5:55ish. It's difficult to be Asara Rishonim. Fine, but at least during the time of Mincha, try to be Asara Rishonim. This is also brought down in the Shalmet Zibur and the Ben Ishchai and the Kav HaChaim. However, though, it says the Chesel Alafim, listen to these words, because these words are gold. Uschara magdim lebet HaKnesset lemincha. The reward for coming to the Bet HaKnesset early in Mincha. Uposek mimlachto, you're stopping your work. Some people nowadays, the work is not the 9 to 5, it's 24/7, they're on their phones. However, though, if a person's coming and they're stopping their work, and they're coming to be the Asara Rishonim, Gadol yoter mischar hamashkim baboker lebet HaKnesset. Says the Chesel Alafim, he has a greater reward than even being the first 10 in the morning. Which means, even though Shulchan Aruch brings down, right, this concept of being the first 10 in the Bet HaKnesset in the morning, he brings it down in Yichot Shachrit, if I remember correctly, I think it's Siman Tzadi. So therefore, here he's coming and he's telling you, however, though, there's a greater reward for being a Asara Rishonim for Mincha than even for Shachrit. So therefore, it's very, very important just to remember what we mentioned yesterday, how important it is Tefillah Mincha and Arvit B'tzibur, that a person shouldn't just say, nah, you know what, okay, fine, I already came to Shachrit, I'm already done, and that's it. I'll do, Mincha and Arvit at the Kotel. No. There's only one kotel. That's only in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, Kedosha, right? There's no other kotel. That means that the person has to be careful that they come from Mincha and Arvit, just like even more than the Shachrit, and therefore the reward for coming for the Asara Rishonim for Mincha even precedes and actually supersedes the reward for being the first 10 during Shachrit. Wonderful day.